Blessed Tuesday to you as we come with your daily encouragement, and we are in James chapter 4. We're continuing our series in the 12 teachings of James. You could follow along from previous videos if you just joined us on this one, but our focus today is on condemning judgment, and it is concerning words that we use. And words are inevitable if we want to communicate with one another. And it is the primary way that we reflect the glory of God by our use of words. Of course, in creation, as we hear the story, Jesus didn't have hands necessarily, or God didn't necessarily have hands to mold things, but God spoke things, and they happened. I know we have the technology, which we call voice recognition, where we speak things and they come into being. In many ways, we are in a very literate society in that we are surrounded by words. If though are living online, we live with texts and things like that. So James is echoing a previous teaching of Jesus. So we're going to reflect on both of them here. And it is a warning, at least my title says, about judging one another. And it's 2 verses, and we'll have a few verses from Matthew's Gospel. But here, first of all, James says, "Do not speak evil against one another, brothers and sisters. Whoever speaks evil against another or judges another speaks evil against the law and judges the law. But if you judge the law, you are not a doer of the law, but a judge. There is one lawgiver and judge who is able to save and destroy. So who then are you to judge your neighbor?" Now, let's be frank. Many of us make judgments all the time. And many of us make judgments about each other quite often. But they are not judgments in the eternal sense of the term. And that's, I would say, a good thing, although every so often we hear someone who is really angry at someone else. It might be a friend, it might be a relative, or it might even be someone somewhat distant, an entertainer, or even a leader or something, where people make some ideas that they can send the person to the bad place or hell. And that's where I get a little tentative on that. Not that I haven't thought that before, but we are reminded that we are not the judge. We are not the lawgiver. We are the people reflective of that law, and if we are judging other neighbors and others quite harshly, we'd probably even judge ourselves, because we are not that lawgiver, nor should we be that lawgiver. In Matthew chapter 6, he is very clear about this. Actually, Matthew chapter 7, a few words, beginning with verse 1. "Do not judge, so that you may not be judged. For with the judgment you make, you will be judged. And the measure you give will be the measure you get. Why do you not see the speck in your neighbor's eye when you do not notice the log in your own eye? Or how can you say to your neighbor, 'Let me take the speck out of your eye,' while the log is in your own eye? You hypocrite! First take the log out of your own eye, and then you will see clearly, and take the speck out of your neighbor's eye." So once again, we're warned about our judgment, our words of judgment that we make. I even heard this quite recently. We had a celebrity that passed away, and I even knew people I knew who were saying, "Well, now we know where that person is." Well, we don't know. When I do a funeral, I don't always say I know that this person is in judgment, or that they are in eternal judgment. I place them into Jesus' hands, because they are in the hands of Jesus, who is the Word, the hands of Jesus who created them by the Word, by the will of the Father, and we send them back when we go to the next life. We're reminded of that in this scripture, that we had to watch our words. And so what do? We are to repeat the words of God, the words found in scripture. That's when we praise. We're called to put the praise of God in our lips, not the judgment of God in our lips. That's why we are given Scripture, to meditate on the Psalms and even hymns to reflect the glory of God. So, my friends, use words. When you judge, stand back from the pronouncement that you are the lawgiver. You are not, I am not, but God is. We can warn people to not go a certain direction, but my friends, it is only Jesus Christ and is only God who ultimately judges us and judges our neighbor. So like with the message of the tongue we had a few days ago, watch what you say, watch what you do. God bless you today. We trust that these are words of encouragement and challenge from the book of James. Take care. God bless. We'll see you next time.